Stories were told to get a point across, and with it comes lore. Let's talk about lore and fan theories. In the digital age, we've decided to surround ourselves with countless cat videos, failed compilations, GIFs, and lore of our favorite franchises. And it's that last one that I find the most interesting. Lore. Lore that is, as Merriam-Webster defines it, as being a particular body of knowledge or tradition. These definitions are really vague, mainly because a lot of things are technically lore. Movies, books, whole religions, even whole fast food companies have developed their own lore, and with them, fandoms. And just to clarify, lore doesn't have to be fictional to be lore. And with lore, people try to find out more information about the things that they love. A whole industry has popped up of lore seekers. Like the bards of yesteryear, these people try to find out more information about things that people like. And with these new pieces of lore, fan theories tend to be developed. Lore hounds is the term that's been coined for these people. I feel like I have to point out that this isn't inherently a bad thing.
The thing with fandoms, as Zoe Frade Blanar and Aaron Glazer point out in their book Super Fandom, is that fandom is a very old phenomenon. People back in the Middle Ages, even before that, used to make pilgrimages, traveling large distances not for aesthetic or economic value, but for a feeling. Actually, Blanar and Glazer point out that in the Middle Ages, Marjorie Kemp's writings of the further adventures of Virgin Mary would be considered as fanfiction.
A lot of it has to do with how information is applied. Lore could range from the banal to the mind-blowing pieces of information that changes the way that you look at an entire piece of work. And these both have places in our society, just not how I see it being portrayed today.
And with it, really insignificant fan theories arise. Hey guys, is Carlos a fake doctor? You know, just because he can't perform doctor magic in the freaking zombie apocalypse? Or how about making not one, not two, but 3 videos about a character that doesn't really actually show up in the game?
Okay, then how do we know which fan theory is more significant?
Well, certain fan theories assume that there is a greater attention to detail than there actually is. I mean, unless it's a Stanley Kubrick film? Wait, actually, never mind. In all actuality, if we were to look at the fan theories portrayed in Room 237, we'd see that most of the theories are based off of 1 or 2 small little details and supported mainly by assumptions made about Stanley Kubrick.
Film that was made by a bored genius who had thoroughly emptied the jug of everything that could be done in filmmaking, and he was looking for the next thing. And what he did was he began reading Subliminal Seduction and a number of other books which were about how advertisers were injecting images, subliminal images, into advertising to sell products. Kubrick went to these advertisers and he asked them what their methods were. And then he took those methods and he applied them to The Shining.
The thing is that these assumptions aren't really supported by the work itself. And yes, actually, what the creator says about the work doesn't really matter. Or it could. Actually, it depends on what lens you're looking at the work with. This really gets deep into analyzing media. It's something that I want to cover more in depth in the future, and we've kind of gotten a bit off track. Point being that you've got to make sure that your theory is supported on another layer. even, so to say, then, there's a lot of Native American imagery, therefore the movie's about the horrors committed against the natives. But that would be helpful if the plot actually reinforced the theory in some way. And in all actuality, if you look at the ratings for Room 237, the critics liked it a lot more than audiences. Mainly because unlike audiences, or even Stephen King for that matter, critics didn't really interpret the movie the same way. Is anyone specifically right? No, not really. I think it really opens up a conversation for how the movie could have two polar opposite responses that aren't inherently wrong. Most people agreed that the theories in the movie were crazy.
But actually, it is fascinating. It is also, at times, utterly infuriating, because it gets to the point with Stanley Kubrick obsessives that you can't tell the difference between a continuity error and a hidden meaning.
But most don't agree as whether or not the movie wants you to criticize them or not.
I feel like this was a very important video to make, since I feel like a lot of the fan theories and focus on lore seems to be very arbitrary or, in the wrong place.
Or just list videos that just list out facts about the show, movie, or video game that's popular. I mean, at a certain level, they're cool, but are so many of these and you barely get anything out of them. Also, assholes who make videos criticizing little things in a movie, like seriously little problems in a movie that you wouldn't really notice had someone not pointed out. I mean, it's almost as these guys are watching these movies just to look for these problems. And, not actually watch the movies themselves. Like, seriously, how unimmersive is that, that guy in the background of the film isn't actually brushing the ground? Like, what does that even do for the story? It doesn't at all. And all of these videos do is make it seem like hardworking editors aren't doing their jobs. Actually, this guy has a really good video about this. Link is down in the description. But basically, he argues that editors are more influenced by how to make a scene feel a certain way than continuity. Because, the feeling is more important. It affects the story more. And this arbitrary and cynical attention to details in movies, it's kind of really dumb. It's kind of how really dumb reinterpretations get a lot of traction. Because people read one article that makes a really lazy hot take on a work, and now the average conversation about the work is that lazy hot take, even though there's not really clear evidence in the work itself. Actually, there's clear evidence in the work itself to the contrary. Anyways, let's take one look at a really popular theory channel and a mildly popular idea channel. And if you look at these two channels, you realize that they're actually really similar in concept, but their approaches when covering the same media are actually really different. Take when they both covered the anime Attack on Titan. Hey guys, you want to know how to survive in an Attack on Titan world? And most of the video being like fluff. Also, obligatory Donald Trump wall joke.
Hey, Donald Trump wants walls. There are walls in the show.
You can really tell when this was posted. Okay, we got a little bit sidetracked there, but the point is that typically MatPat and his game film theories stay on the level of, that's interesting. Well, now, moving on with my life, and probably won't apply this in any way to my life. Idea Channel, on the other hand, tends to think very big picture. And even though they're covering some of the more ridiculous theories, like the Tommy Westphal theory, a theory that awkwardly ties in over 200 television shows in the same universe, which all happens to be happening in a child's mind. Mike Ruganetta quickly explains the theory and then explains why people like talking about this theory and what that theory means.
How can we imagine all or much of the media we love being somehow related, somehow intertwined, capable of interacting? Is there a pathway between Mulder and Spike? What if someone on the John Larroquette show influenced history in such a way that it made certain portions of Star Trek possible? In the way that it's fun to see public figures you like interacting with one another on social media, it's fun to consider how your favorite fictional universes may intersect or interact. Heck, it's a whole genre of fan fiction. It's even an incredibly popular video game.
And that's my biggest gripe. The point I've been trying to make is that meaning is important. I bet you that the average game theorist fan wouldn't be able to suss out a theme for the Five Nights at Freddy's games, well, because all of those theory videos do is point out a narrative not really what that narrative means, what the themes of these pieces of media are. Actually, I doubt even the most hardcore Undertale fans that care about who W.D. Gaster is would be able to come out with a theme for the game, or even Matt Pat himself. It's probably why I prefer editorials and video essays to, hey guys, this is just a theory, a game theory. I just want people to think more critically about the media they consume.
So next time you see a theory or piece of lore, don't just leave it at that. Think of it on the next level. What does it mean for the work as a whole? Does it change anything about the characters? Does it change how you see certain events? Does it change the theme of the work of it all? Let's think a little bit more deeply about the media we consume. And until next time, I'll see you around the internet, partner.
There's a perfume of a million flowers clinging to the heart of old Hawaii. There's a rainbow following the showers, bringing me a part of old Hawaii. There's